Welcome to the Midlife Manifesto, where we are embracing the twists and turns and transformations of midlife. I am Arlene Scholten, your host and fellow traveler on this crazy journey. So if you're looking to reinvent yourself, rediscover your passions, or just make sense of this beautifully messy phase of your life, you're in the right place. I will be interviewing experts on a number of different topics, anything midlife, whether it be your health, wellness, perimenopause, relationships, rediscovering yourself, new adventures, career shifts, raising teenagers, you name it. We're going to discuss it all right here. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's get real about midlife, because it's more than a phase. It's our time to thrive. We can do this together, so join me on my journey. It's crazy, but let's make it some fun. Hello, and welcome to my podcast, The Midlife Manifesto. I am your host, Arlene Scholten, and today I'm so lucky to have Audrie Woodhouse with us today. So I'm just going to introduce her. Audrie is an international speaker and communications trainer, coach, speaker, and founder of Honestly Speaking Ltd. As well as her leadership experience in business, Audrie has spent more than 30 years in media, theatre, film, and television, with credits including the BBC, ITV, Channel 4, and the Royal Shakespeare Company. Her speaking and communication consultancy partners with prestigious organizations, including the NHS, Met Police, the Home Office, Network Rail, Portakabin, Strata Homes, Ahead Partnerships, Acaster, Lloyd, and Ecole Nationale de la Magistrature, Paris, designing and delivering dynamic training and coaching with impressive results. Audrie also works behind the scenes as a secret weapon to an exhaustive range of influential speakers and leaders with an end-to-end service, ensuring sophisticated, authentic, and faultless performances. So welcome to the show. And it is an honor to have you. And how was my French?
It's pretty good. It's about as good as mine. Can you believe I go there twice a year and my French is not good.
Do you? I'm doing Duolingo right now, actually. So
yeah,
for French.
Oh, really? That's good.
Yeah, that's what I got for the kids for Christmas. So we were doing Duolingo, but I lost my 86-day streak actually when we were away. So I'm starting back from scratch. But anyway, so Audrie, we spoke a little bit and I met you at a networking event in York, and I was listening to you and I thought, this woman has her shit together. So I'm going to get her on the show. So welcome. So we spoke a little bit, and a lot of this is going to be, as our listeners are mostly midlife women. I guess I want to really dive in and get your expertise in terms of how, I guess, women can get their voice, especially in midlife. Obviously, most of us, by the time we're in our 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever, even 30s, we may be, I guess, when you have kids or a business and relationships and everything like that, we can sometimes get a little bit lost and sometimes maybe forget who we are a little bit, maybe get a bit sidetracked. Different things take focus, like raising children and careers, marriages, and things like that. So to start off, can you tell us a little bit? One of the things that surprised me when you were speaking at the networking event was actually that you told us that you were a shy child. And when you were speaking on it, there's no way this woman was shy. But can you tell us a little bit how you got to where you are right now?
Yeah, that's so funny. You know, most actors are shy, incredibly shy.
Well, you said that.
Yeah. And really so weird, because you were reading out my biography and I'm like, I felt like uncomfortable with it. Because it feels easier to be in the background, and I've seen that in print so many times but not heard it read out loud and it just was strange. I think certainly performing arts helped me to be able to flick the switch and turn up and be present and in the moment when I needed to be. And I think certainly it brought me out of my shell when I'm around other people. And I think, I mean, this is what I tell most of the people that I work with, and I certainly did it. I was leaning into speaking more from a very young age, because I mentioned when I did do my talk that it was actually a dance teacher who said, "You're still not really speaking, Audrie."
Yeah.
And so having that said to me in my teens by somebody who was a great influence in my life. I mean, obviously my beautiful parents are a great influence in my life, but I think when it's somebody outside of your family who you really respect and fear a little bit.
Yeah.
If you know dance teachers, and we're always afraid of our dance teacher. Um, just to have them say something like that to you, it really resonates, and you sort of think to yourself, oh, what is it? What are people seeing? What are they noticing? And I didn't want to draw more attention to myself. So yeah, I started to lean into this uncomfortable feeling of speaking up, speaking out, having a voice, hearing my voice, like hearing in my own ears what my voice sounded like. And then really, because I'm so curious about, honestly, I'm curious about the thing that I'm doing, to the point of I'll spend hours with my nose in a book trying to get to the bottom of how it's done. I fell into the performing arts on a deeper level. It wasn't about being seen, and it wasn't about being more confident or having a voice, if I'm honest. I was doing that because it came with the territory, but really I fell into it more and more and more because I wanted to get better and better and better and know how to do it better. And I just got obsessed with being better. Um, and that just carried on. I would get really good at one aspect of the performing arts, and I'd be like, right, what about this bit? And I'd dive into that area and specialize in this area, or do a master's in that bit. And it just kept going. So I would create a theatre company, or go on
Yeah.
tour, or do all these different, so many different things that I just got used to being seen and heard, and it became a thing. um to get to where I am now, I think I have to be really honest and say, I think um to begin with, it was because somebody else asked me.
Okay. Where did
um
that start? What was the first thing somebody asked you to do?
yeah, so I'd spent years um in acting and performance, but I'd also been teaching for quite a lot of years, and I'd been teaching on different levels. I had my own storytelling business, so I was working with babes in arms with their mums in mother and baby groups, and then going in and working as associate lecturer in university or for the Royal Shakespeare Company, as
Yeah.
you mentioned. And so I had experience in helping others, and enabling others through teaching, and drawing upon sort of elocution and stagecraft and acting skills and all of the techniques that help us show up as the best version of ourselves.
Yeah.
And then it was a parent of a child that I'd been working with, who he was incredibly shy. She came to me and said, I want to get a promotion, and I can't get a promotion because I'm too shy and I can't raise my voice. I can't command a room. When I come to present, I'm quiet. I forget my words. I choke, and people just aren't regarding me as a leader. And she was brilliant at what she did, very accomplished. And I thought, well, I- I've done it for everyone else. Why not?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just did it in my living room. And I worked with her a couple of times, and she was promoted, but very quickly promoted again. And then she said, you need to come and work with my clinicians. So I went in and worked with them. And I thought, hang on a minute, I absolutely love this. I love helping people to speak and feel confident and great about themselves. But I did notice that, I mean, you can teach somebody how to speak and present well. You can tell them, you can give them the tools, but actually that doesn't really work, because they go away going, oh, great, yeah, I've got all this stuff, but then
Yeah.
they don't know how to apply it, because it's not, some of the stuff isn't specific to them. Like, all the tools don't work for all the people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so I went away and I trained as a coach and NLP practitioner. And then I
Okay.
put the two together. So starting with the person first, helping them to identify who they are and what's important to them and their direction of travel. And then said, right, okay, so if this is who you are, if this is how you want to be seen and heard, now let's give you the skills and tools to be that, to do that, to say that, to sound like that. So that's how it was created. And that formula was created along with the business in about 2016.
Right. Can you just tell people, for anyone who doesn't know what NLP is, can you just briefly tell them, explain what NLP is?
Yeah, that's neuro linguistic programming.
Yeah.
So we can use it to help us sort of rewire certain neural pathways, perceptions, ways of thinking. You can actually use it to reverse phobias and things like that. But for me, it's really useful because often NLP can focus on how we speak to ourselves and the language that we use, and
Mhm.
how using negative language can be really, you know, what's the word I want to use? Um, Detrimental to us internally, but then of course it affects people outside of us externally as well, because
Yeah.
they hear that tone, they hear that voice, they hear those words. Um, and that really fascinates me. So often when I'm helping people craft their keynote speeches, I'll be saying to them, oh, we're going to take out the buts and we're going to put an and in there. Or
Yeah.
have you noticed that they're using I a lot and not we? And instead of saying they want to do something, why, sorry, instead of saying they need to do something, why not say want to do something? Because they
Right.
want to, they don't need it. They're not
Yeah.
lacking specifically in that area. So language for me with regard to NLP has been, yeah, a game changer for my
Yeah.
work. Yeah.
There's a lot of chiropractors, any listeners that don't know me. I am a chiropractor, and NLP. There's a lot of chiropractors that do use NLP because everything we do is about the brain and reprogramming.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very valuable tool.
Yeah.
One thing I want to talk about, like in your description, like in your bio and everything, and you mentioned that you're a storyteller.
Mm.
And then obviously you mentioned that you were shy and you've worked with, I would imagine several women and men maybe that are a bit shy, but how important are those stories? And you said, you had one, your dance teacher kind of told you to speak out. How do you, how do you undo those stories that we've told ourselves as children? Because obviously if you grow up and you've probably been around other parents where they're like, oh, this is my son, this is my daughter, and she's shy.
Yeah.
And then it's just like this kind of label, like she's shy. And I guess the kid will be like, well, maybe I'm just not comfortable. It doesn't mean you're shy. But how important are these stories, regardless whether it be about being shy or being, maybe not good at sport, or there's so many different stories that we hear along the way. It could not just be from our parents, but from teachers. And I had one of our PE teachers, I was in high school and I think we were grade 9, a friend of mine, and we rocked up to do a long distance run. And I remember her saying, oh, it's too far. You guys won't be able to do it. I think I was 13 at the time, but I've run 12 marathons since. So I feel like sending her a message. But it's
Yeah.
like these stories that we tell ourselves, or that how do you start to undo those? Because I would imagine if you're going to become a confident speaker or want a promotion, we're going to have to start to really unpick a lot of what we've been told in the
Yeah.
past.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really interesting actually. My daughter's doing her GCSEs, and when she starts on the, oh, but I'll never be able to do this, I start straight away swooping in and
Yeah.
saying, can we change the dialogue, please? That's not
Yeah.
going to help you in the exam. um, but when this thing of labeling people shy, I found this really interesting. Um, I mean, I was using it, but I don't know if you've ever listened to Susan Cain's famous TED Talk or read her book Quiet. It's absolutely brilliant.
No,
That's CAIN, by the way. So you writing it down.
I am. Yeah.
And she talks about obviously how the loudest voice in the room isn't the smartest, but also there's a brilliant chapter on children and quiet children, and how we think that there's something wrong with them if they are not raising their voice, if they're not the first to shout up or put their hand up in class. And she talks about how it's really important that we allow children to just be who they are and find their
Yeah.
voice in their own time and in their own way. And I think if we actually, this is why I work an awful lot in schools. So I
Yeah. You said.
religiously spend time in primary schools and secondary schools quite a few times in the month, actually, because if we can start it young,
Yeah.
um, we're onto a winner, because people
Yeah.
carry that label of, oh, you were shy, you were this, you were that, they take it with them right into adulthood, and in a way it becomes a little bit of an excuse, a get out clause,
Yeah.
not to show up and have a voice. And yes, I mean, I completely agree with her. If a parent were to come to me and say, "Can you help my which has happened, of course, can you help my child? They're incredibly shy." I will say the first thing we're going to do is not put that label on them, and we're going to help them to understand that the way they communicate is completely valid and absolutely right for them. And we're going to help them find their own way to speak and communicate and find their voice in a way that's comfortable and suitable for them, because then that voice will be stronger and their communication will come from a place of confidence and assurance. And now when I'm speaking with people who are older, I mean, there's definitely half a room full of introverts in every group workshop, or a dozen introverts that come and do one-to-one coaching with me every single time. And I'll say the same thing to them. Let's just pause a minute and not go down the path of, well, I'm incredibly shy. Everybody else
Yeah.
is louder than me. They're smarter than me. They're better than me. They're older than me, older, more accomplished than
Or
me.
they're younger than me is
Yeah.
where we start
And
to get
and
to
if I
now.
speak, I'll sound stupid. And I'll say,
Yeah.
whoa, 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 we're gonna stop all of that. And we're just gonna go back a few steps. And we're not gonna change the story, because I don't think why should we change the story? I think we should hold on to our experiences because they've
Yeah.
shaped us and made us who we are. But let's try and reframe it and look at it in a different way, and think about how we can now lean into opportunities where you feel what it's like to speak up, you feel what it's like to say something, and dance around in that sort of stretch zone a little bit, see how your confidence feels. And if it's a little bit shaky, we're going to take a step back and then we'll try something else. And I think that is the way to do it. It's telling somebody, this is what you must do. You must stand up straight, you must make eye contact, you must stick out your chest, and you must
Yeah.
project your voice, is not the way to help somebody speak better
Yeah.
and to speak with confidence and nuance and finesse and eloquence. No, there's something deeper and
Yeah.
more um I think having an authentic voice comes from a sense of inner knowing and knowing yourself. And so we have to be gentle with that and allow that to
Yeah.
blossom. Of course, I will always teach people the technical speaking skills and
Mm.
how to stand and present and all of those things. But I think they come after we feel safe enough to do that.
Yeah. I think that's an interesting thing because I've been reading a lot about polyvagal, which is also about feeling safe.
Yeah.
And I guess once you feel safe, then you can, and like you said, you can't have like 30 alphas in a class, can you? It just doesn't work. So, to
No.
have you have to have a variety and a variant of different types of personalities. And there's nothing wrong with being quiet. I do hate that kind of shy. My daughter was a bit quiet when she was little. And I remember somebody being, oh, she's shy. I'm like, no, she's not shy. She's just not loud. Like she's fine.
Yeah, and still now I'll get grown-ups who they either are a leader and think they're a bad one, or they want to be a leader and think they never will be one because
Yeah.
they're quiet. And I will say, hang on a minute. Do you realize that you have perfect leadership skills here? And they're like, what? What do you mean? And it's true. And I'll say, when you're in the boardroom, do you sit and let everybody else have a voice? And do you listen carefully to what they have to say? And do you process it? And do you wait until you have something of value to give? And they go, well, yeah. And I say, well, that's a leader.
Mm.
That is a true
Yeah.
leader.
Yeah.
So that quality is amazing. So let's work with that. And they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. You should go work with some of the politicians, actually.
Oh, I've
But you try
commented
that
on
one.
quite, yeah, I've commented on quite a few on the radio, but not worked with any just yet. There's always
Mm.
chance.
There is always chance.
Hmm.
How did you come up with the name, honestly speaking? 'Cause that is your
Um,
main business, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was actually in a session and I was giving feedback and I said, "Mm, honestly speaking, I've got to say this is
Yeah.
what I think." And I was at the time thinking, what's my business name going to be? And I thought I'm going to just have a look and see if that's available, and it was, which shocked me. So
Yeah.
I took it.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's yeah, stuck with me. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So you travel around. I mean, you were just in Canada, you've been to Paris. So, I mean, this job is, it's an exciting job. It takes you around the world. And
Mhm.
who are you mainly speaking to? Who's your main, I know you speak to primary schools. When I spoke to you before off the air, you spoke a lot about your love of speaking to midlife women.
Mm,
And I
mm.
guess we spoke about some of the challenges, I guess that midlife women face. And that, it was quite a nice niche that you like working with.
Yeah. I mean, my client base is so broad.
Right.
Um, and I like it that way because I'm fascinated by humans and the way
Mm,
they work and the way they communicate in their unique way.
yeah.
But yeah, just thinking about women in midlife, which is me as well, so I
Yeah.
identify with them. Um, I really enjoy working with them, but confronting some of the perceptions they have about themselves. Um, Especially if they're struggling with changes that are going on. Um, and I'm not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing that it's coming
Yeah.
from me, but I kind of think it's coming from me. I am the same as you. I will go through and I'm going through similar things.
Yeah.
So I'm coming at this from a place of understanding
Yeah.
and empathy. But often women will tell themselves that they're not able to speak their mind, stand up in a room full of people, even network, make small talk, or be a leader because of menopause. And menopause is getting in the way because they either get too anxious or nervous, they get flushed and then they get embarrassed, or they forget what they want to say, or it's too overwhelming. And I do understand all of those things and those
Yeah.
feelings. And actually, being someone I still get nervous when I stand to speak. It's so funny. I get nervous
You
every
don't
single
look like
time.
it.
Yeah, no, every single time. And I can be at the side of the stage waiting to go on. And in my brain, I'm going, I have no idea what I'm going to say. What am I going to say? And then I get up and I can do 30 minutes of my speech word for word without forgetting it. But
Right.
every single time I do it,
Yeah.
and I'm panicking and worried that I'm going to fail. And I mean, it's because it means so much to me that I
Yeah.
feel that way. But that's what other women feel as well. It means a lot to them. Their career, what people think of them, it means a lot to them. But it's okay to have those feelings and still power on and still get
Yeah.
through and break through. And so I really enjoy, again, helping them to reframe the way they think about themselves and their capabilities, even when they're going through these things.
Yeah.
So, for example, really, if you want to be seen as a thought leader, someone who is accomplished, an expert in their field, you don't want to be referring to notes all of the time, because if you're referring to notes, then you don't know it, right? So you're
Yeah.
thinking, I can't look at my notes because then everybody will think I don't know what I'm saying or what I'm doing. And I say to them, I think that's just a bit of a pile of crock, really. It's
Right.
Don't worry about it. Of course, it would be amazing if you didn't need your notes. Of course, it would. But if you do, so what? If you're going to use your notes, what we're going to do is make sure that you look ultra professional using them. And they're like, what? So I'll say, don't stand up with a piece of paper that's all floppy and ragged, or a
Yeah.
notebook that you're kind of throwing around everywhere. Let's get you some really slick speaker cards. And
Yeah.
if you own your own business, brand them and have
Yeah.
the logo on, and make it really slick and smart. And now let's look at your stagecraft and your body language and how you refer to those notes, and don't apologize, and remind the audience that what you're giving is so valuable, you don't want to
Yeah.
miss a beat. So you've got your notes with you that day. And they're like, oh, what, really? And I'm like, yes, don't apologize.
Yeah.
Let's find a way for you to actually still get up there and do it. And do you know what? 9 times out of 10, we will go through this whole process of prepping them with the cards and the notes and all, and then they'll go, I never even looked at it. And I'm like, I know, I
But
knew
you
that,
had your
but you,
fancy and you had your logo actually facing out, which is great.
yeah. But they just need the
Interesting what
crutch sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting what you say about apologizing on stage. I was at a networking thing a few months ago, and the woman was really good. And until pretty much throughout her whole talk, she apologized. Oh, you might know this, or you might. you might not find this interesting, or sorry, I may have said that. So I think she said sorry. She said sorry several times. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, had she just taken that word out and actually owned her, like it was all good content, but because
Yeah.
she kept apologizing, yeah, she just didn't come across as professional or as but I mean she had incredible information. It was very, very powerful. But yeah, it was just the fact that she was
I,
apologizing almost for being there.
yeah. I mean, I think this is I mean, there are so many reasons why I work with the person first, but that's another good reason
Mm,
because, okay, the rule is don't apologize, but we've got to go back and help that person understand what they're actually giving as value,
yeah,
but also help them to understand that as long as they're apologizing, as long as they're looking uncomfortable up there, then the audience is uncomfortable as well. And when an audience is worried about the speaker, they don't hear what the speaker has to say.
yeah, that's
So
true. Yeah,
you want to manage your own state. Of course, I spend an awful lot of time on helping people with their breath and posture and body language and feeling great and calm. And that's great for them. Of course it is. But it's even better for the audience as well, because then we can build rapport, then we can build
yeah,
a positive atmosphere, and the audience can engage with you and not worry about you and
yeah,
actually hear what you've got to say.
yeah,
There's something I say all of the time, which is the message is more important than you. And people
yeah,
go, "Oh, are you being mean?" And then I say it again, and they go, "Oh my God, that's great, because it means I don't need to focus on me." And I'm like, "Yeah, focus on the
yeah,
message.
yeah,
And how do you get that across in a brilliant way? Let's focus on that, because we're not interested really in you. We're interested in your sweets. What goodies have you
yeah,
brought
yeah,
for us
yeah,
today? Why would we sit in that seat and take up precious time to listen to you? Let's think about that.
yeah,
Okay. So yeah, there's a lot more behind it than just telling somebody speak better.
yeah. It is one of the biggest fears, though, they say, is public speaking, isn't
Yeah.
it? Or presenting in front of people, not
Yeah.
wanting to be seen
Yeah. And I think
or
that's
heard.
because um really it's a trigger. So it presses a button and lots of other anxieties rise up because it's so exposing. If you think about it as well, your voice is your instrument. It's
Mm.
so distinctive. It's so you. I mean, people can have their back to you and be yards away, but they'll know it's you because of your voice.
Yeah,
So it's so revealing. And so a big part of us is really anxious about giving that away. That's a lot of
yeah,
power to give away, just speaking out. So, there are stages to go through, I think. And the way to do it, as I said right at the start, is to lean into it, because the more your voice is out there and you hear it, the more you get used to the fact that
yeah,
it's out there, and
yeah.
other people will listen and hear. And actually, it's not that much of a big deal.
It's also, it comes with practice, doesn't it? I mean, you can't get on stage and expect, even if you have coaching, to be, phenomenal speaker. I mean, so for some people it comes more naturally than others, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But I mean, for you to be able to present the way you are, I mean, you've probably done it hundreds of times, haven't you? I mean, you coach it. So
Yeah.
there's probably a bit of an art form in understanding what it takes to be a good speaker, and just
Oh, yeah.
practicing and practicing and practicing, and any opportunity really, you get to take it really.
Yeah. I mean, you really, really do need to put in the work to get to a point where you're speaking in such an authentic conversational way that everybody around you relaxes and just feels that they're actually talking with you rather
Yeah.
than being talked at.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
um, and I do think it's worth it. It's worth putting that work in, because that's when you build your tribe. That's when you really connect with people, because they see and hear a real person rather than someone who's going, "This is my ego.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Listen
Yeah.
to me. I have something to say." And I'm like, no, 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 no. Let's pull back. Let's pull back a bit. Obviously, I've worked with those people as well.
I bet you have worked with many different people. I think it's great that you work in primary schools. My older two, they're 20 and 16 now, but their primary school, they had a great head. She was quite old fashioned, and she knew everyone in the school. She was amazing. But part of it is every term the kids would have to present, they'd have an assembly, and all the parents came, and they must have been speaking to at least an audience of about 50 to 75 adults and siblings. And they'd have to present either their math or their art or something. And like each of them had to speak and say something. But they did that every term for like while they were at that primary school. And it was really, I mean, some of them, they were so nervous, you could tell. Others were quite confident. But I just thought that is such a good, it's
Yeah,
scary for some of them, but they had
yeah,
to do it. And I think it was really good. And even later, they will know that they stood on stage and spoke to 75 people,
yeah, yeah,
just staring at them. And I thought it was so good. And I do think it's changed now. We try to kind of
mm,
cocoon our kids and not push them
yeah,
if they don't want to do anything. But then you never actually put yourself out there. And I think as a
yeah,
child, it's, I just think it's, we put my daughter in stagecoach when she was little, and it really, really helped her blossom. And
yeah,
it was really, really good just for her to kind of get on stage, be a little bit uncomfortable. And I mean, she's absolutely fine.
yeah.
But, that was really, really, really helpful.
Yeah. I mean that's what happened to me really, going to that ballet lesson,
Yeah.
drama classes and stuff. I have
Yeah.
to say there are some adults I work with who were put through that having to speak in public at primary school, and that is the thing that scarred them and they never want to speak again.
Really.
Yeah, so it's a difficult one. I think actually a lot of what you're saying is absolutely right for the majority, but it's
Yeah.
not a one size
No.
fits all thing. And I think um I really love the sessions with the primary school kids. I mean, really, they're doing me a favor as well because they just bring you straight back down to earth.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I just love, I mean, I use a lot of play and creativity in my world, and they just play and be
Yeah.
creative. And if they think it, they see it, and it's real. And I love that. And I wish grown-ups didn't lose their playfulness
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
and just go to this kind of logic kind of way of being. Um, but I really like the interactions and slowing everything down and really looking into the eyes of a young person and then allowing them to start a conversation or feel their way through a conversation or telling me a story or showing me something, um, and them blossoming and it opening out and then seeing the realization, oh yeah, oh, oh, I'm interesting, oh,
Yeah.
I've got an audience, oh, people want to hear me, and but allowing that rather than going do it.
Yeah.
um and I work an awful lot with mask as well, so when I was working with the Royal Shakespeare Company I was the mask consultant.
Yes. I remember you saying, yeah.
So I'm fascinated with masks, which obviously would suit someone like me who's an introvert. So going on tour and putting on a full mask and acting away was amazing.
Yeah.
Um, but working with masks has really helped me to help other people unlock certain parts of themselves, and get to a point where they can take off that mask and go, oh my God, I can do this. Um, and using body language and expression to start that journey rather than the voice and then adding that in, that's been incredible.
Yeah. You were
Absolutely
explaining the
incredible.
masks at the talk, actually. It was quite, I would have never thought, but
Yeah.
I was never really into, we did a lot of sport when I was a kid. We did, my mom actually, this, he forced us, my mom was a music teacher. And so this is interesting what you said about some kids, how it's not the right thing, but I had to play piano. We did Royal Conservatory. And I remember in the libraries, we used to have to play our piece and it was so, so, so silent. And I remember I'd have to put a pretty dress on and play my piece. I used to hate it so much. I remember once I had to sing and I was hiding behind the shed in the garden. Like I just didn't want to do it. So I think it's interesting. Yeah, you can push your kids so much, but I mean, when you really, really detest something, I think you gotta stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yeah. It's interesting what you say about the sports thing, though, because I think the way you feel about your body and the way you feel about your health and well-being really does affect the way you present
mm,
yourself to others. You know, I'm not talking about being a presenter, I'm talking about
yeah,
present yourself in a room, show up for yourself
yeah,
and allow other people to see you. I've always felt that being connected with how my body feels and how I feel about it has really helped me um, to be present and to show up with confidence. Because if I didn't have that, I think, yeah, I might struggle. But maybe that's my
Yeah.
brain because I started as a dancer and I feel
Yeah. Well, I
I've
guess
always
how important
connected.
is your health in midlife? I mean, you look great. You look like you take care, you good take care of yourself, but how important is this is like part of the, premise of the podcast is,
Mm,
it's just I just find, I mean, obviously as a chiropractor, I've seen everything and
yeah,
I just think the most fun and the most amazing thing is actually to be healthy.
yeah,
I just to have that freedom. Like they
yeah,
talk about, financial freedom and it's also about health freedom.
yeah.
For me, it's just so how important is your health in life and what do you do to stay in shape and
Yeah, I mean, it's really important to me, and I have to say, if I had more time, I'd be, I'd be doing an awful lot more because it just makes me feel so good if I'm being
yeah,
active. Um, but I don't actually have loads of time. And actually, since being a parent on my own and
yeah,
having this business, I haven't had an awful lot of time. So I found myself just like making stuff up to
yeah.
to be
Winging it.
active. Yeah.
Yeah,
So long walks with the dog,
yeah,
listening to a podcast which will inform me in my research for something that I'm doing for work, just
yeah,
trying
yeah,
to
yeah,
cram. But yeah, walking the dog has been a savior. I was lifting weights, but I've actually injured my shoulder, but that made me feel amazing.
yeah, yeah.
Some days I will wake up and put music on and I will dance like I used to dance when I was a professional dancer around my bedroom and get up a sweat.
Yeah,
Um, I've been known to pick up really heavy potted plants in my house and do squats.
yeah,
Um, I'll literally do anything. And then if I have the freedom to join the local gym and get down there a
yeah,
couple of times a week when things are quiet, I will do that.
yeah,
Um, I'll stand up sometimes and deliver meetings. So like we are now, I'll just put my laptop on a stand and I'll stand up and
yeah,
I'll drop everything and quickly go out the door and walk around the block. So I feel like I'm squeezing things in.
yeah,
I really do notice if I've not done those things.
yeah. And I think
Um,
the and that incidental exercise is very underrated. I think
yeah,
it really is. I think sometimes with patients, I'm like, you don't have time for the gym. Like, I had a new patient the other day, yesterday actually, and she's quite burnt out. And she was like, I think I need to join the gym. I'm like, I don't think you need to join the gym right now. You just need to walk and focus on your health
yeah,
and get better. And then you join the gym. Because I think if you join the gym right now, you are going to burn out.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
think it is like I'm a very taskmaster, and I think sometimes you just need to like I'm doing triathlon this weekend, and then I'm taking the summer off and just
Yeah,
I'll still ride and run and everything and play tennis, but it's just going to be on my own time and without a necessarily a target. And I'm actually really looking forward to that.
yeah. I mean, I've learned definitely in the past year or so to be a lot more gentle
Yeah.
on my body, um, and notice and recognize when there is just no energy left in it.
Mm,
I used to say to myself, but that is not true. That's my brain
yeah.
telling me that I shouldn't do it because I'm being lazy.
Yeah.
And so I had this battle with myself about being lazy. But I mean, honestly, if I'm really true to myself and to you right now, there are times when I haven't really done anything in the day, but my body is shaking because I'm so tired. And I
Yeah.
think that is an age thing for me. It's just sometimes it just goes, right, you just need to stop.
Yeah.
You just need to like chill and
It's a bit of
relax.
an uncomfortable truth, I find.
Yeah.
I don't know how old you are, but I'm 48. And I've always been like a real taskmaster and working towards something. And I think it is, and I'm not saying you can't. I mean, I was looking at some triathlon times of women and they're like, the 50 to 55 and like even the 60 to 65, and their times are incredible.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're running businesses and still have kids at home. But so you can still do it, but I think it's about balance as we get older, because
Yeah.
otherwise you can really burn out. Like in my other podcast, we talk about all sorts of things in midlife that start to slow down. So the body isn't recuperating as much, but I find it quite a hard thing when you start to notice that you can't do what you did in your 30s. I do
Yeah.
find it hard.
Yeah. I find that really hard as well, giving into it.
Yeah,
But I do, again, I do think if I wasn't working as hard as I work,
Yeah.
and I wasn't single parenting, then I might have the time to be ultra fit. And you know what? I definitely would, because I would love it. I would
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm just not there at the moment. Again, I'm saying that to you. It took me ages for me to be able to say that, Audrey. You're
Yeah.
just not right there right now. There'll be a time when you've got a little bit more freedom, and there'll be a time
Yeah.
when you can carve out the hours again
Yeah.
and go back to what you were doing before. But right now, this is what you need.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to just lay on the sofa and not
Yeah.
move and recover and then start again.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Um, I tell you what I've really loved as well, because I hurt my shoulder, been going to physio, and she's taken me right back to really connecting with those very basic core exercises where you
Yeah.
really locate muscle and work on that in a very gentle way, but it's really, really beneficial and amazing
Yeah.
and active. So I've really enjoyed doing that as well, and then extending that into some yoga classes and some more stretches. As a dancer, oh my God, I love to stretch.
Yeah. I bet you
That's
do.
underrated as well. People don't realize how
Oh,
good
yes.
stretching
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Oh, it's so
Yeah,
good.
I love stretching.
Movement. Well, the more stretchy you are as a chiropractor, the more flexible your spine is, better your nerves are. Hey, so
Yes.
it is all connected, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is a current trend or narrative you see in society that you think needs to be challenged at all,
Mm.
especially in midlife? We spoke a little bit about, I guess excuses and things like that, that sometimes, and I'm not saying they're excuses because some women actually do feel quite horrendous in midlife.
Yeah, I think they do. I think there are degrees, aren't there? And once again, it's not the same rule for everybody, because
No.
we're all going through different experiences, and sometimes I think it's multiple factors all contributing to something, which isn't great either. So it could be
Yeah.
menopause, but you could also be a lot of the time now, women going through menopause have got children that are still quite young at home and elderly parents who need taking care
Yeah.
of. And so there's more to deal with. So
Yeah.
it's not, oh, it's just menopause.
No.
It's a load of other stuff.
A lot of spinning plates
Yeah,
sometimes.
I think I struggle with language around women of our age not, and it's usually women saying it, that they're not being accepted or not fitting in or not being
Mm.
treated equal to men and things like that. I don't, again, it's not really fair of me to say
I
that
always say to the kids in our house, and when they hesitate, I always say this is a safe space. So you can say whatever
yeah,
you want. I said to a patient the other day, because I do think that there's a bit of a societal breakdown, and you and I touched on it when we spoke the other day on, like I have a career, you have a career, but I think there's a gap where kids of our generation now are, or of our kids' generation are, don't have a mother who's at home very often
yeah,
because we're also striving for a career. So,
yeah,
and I said this to a patient, I thought, oh, I might get in trouble here. But I do
yeah.
think that there's, we're trying to have it all. And I always think you can have it all, but not all at the same time.
Yeah, so I'm not too bothered. I'm just going to tell you my thing, and like I'll probably get shut down, but I'm
It's a
not really
safe space,
bothered.
Audrey.
I don't really care about what anybody else is choosing to do. I've
Yeah,
always run my own race.
yeah,
So I don't really mind what other people are doing and how they're deciding to live their lives, whether they're going faster than me, whether they're going slower than me, whether they're doing better than me or worse than me. That's their life, that's their choice, that's their thing. So I'm just going to run my race and do what I want to do and stay
yeah,
in my lane. Um, and so with that, it gives me some freedom, because I don't actually judge anybody else anyway,
yeah,
for
yeah,
making their choices. And that applies to men as well. So sometimes I think men are given a really hard time.
yeah,
And I don't, I've always felt equal to the men that I've worked with. I've never felt disregarded or pushed to one side or any of
yeah,
those things. But maybe that's to do with my mindset and how I choose to move forward. And maybe I've just not noticed it when it's happened.
yeah.
but I've just decided, oh, that's what I'm doing, and I just go and do it. Um, but I do have to say, I've not always wanted it all either. So when you talk about some women wanting it all and wanting a career and all of those things, I've
Yeah,
not,
yeah,
I haven't.
right.
You know, uh, my business has actually grown alongside my kids growing.
Yeah,
So the amount of hours I spend in it has grown as they've grown.
yeah,
And sometimes I did feel it was a little bit frustrating because there was something I really wanted to do, but a lot of the
yeah,
time I've actually used the fact that I've got my own business to be able to say, well, I'm stopping now because I need to go and get the children
yes,
and then I need to cook their tea. I might put a bit of work in later on
yeah,
if I've got the energy and they don't need a bath. But I might not because these are the hours that I work and that suits me. Um, and I have been known to get up in the morning and work 2 hours before they woke up.
yeah,
Little devils, I hate it when they're really young and they wake up really early. I'm like, stay asleep for a bit longer. No,
yeah,
so,
yeah. Not
so
yet,
work.
not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Just give me another half an hour. But work before they wake up, then just stop and go, right, okay, breakfast, getting them ready for school, take them to school. The minute they're at school, right, work, 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 work,
Yeah,
work.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Pick them up, bring them home, make sure they're fed, clean, happy, and then work again. And I've literally worked around them so that I could be home and
yeah,
present for them. Um, and I've taken the holidays. Sometimes it's not been great financially, but I've
yeah,
wanted to be there. I've
yeah,
wanted to be, I've so wanted to be there.
yeah,
When you say, oh, you travel, you go to Canada and Paris, I actually don't think that that is brilliant at all because, I mean, my kids are 14 and 16. We
yeah,
are so close, of course, because there's
yeah,
the three of us.
yeah,
And we love each other deeply. We're very close. But right now, they want me there, but in a different room. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, 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 yeah,
Mom, we love you. Da, 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 da. But really, they don't care if I'm in the same space as them. And it was me that actually felt sad when I got to Paris last year and called them to say, hi, I'm here. And they're like, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, what? This is wrenching for me. I miss you
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah, yeah,
much. And they're less bothered now that they're older. So we've got
yeah,
to a stage now where it's okay. But to be honest with you, if I didn't have to do it or if it wasn't,
yeah.
I probably would quite like to
But
just
I
be
do. I
there.
think it's one of the beautiful things about running your business as a mom, because you
Yeah.
can. Like, I mean, I don't work full time, but because I've
Yeah.
always wanted to be there for the kids, well, as much as I can be.
Yeah.
But
And
I do
I
think it gives you that flexibility. But yeah, you take a financial hit because you're not working all days of the work, and
yeah.
I don't want to work that much anyway. But
Yeah.
you do take but you can be there present for your kids. So, it is fantastic. Kind of just trying to find
And
that balance.
I know that there are people who have to work full time in their
Yeah,
job, and
yeah,
I really admire them for that as well because,
yeah,
in fact, I've seen and met women who are doing two or three jobs. So they're working all hours
yeah,
to provide for their kids, and I
yeah,
completely respect that as well.
yeah, yeah,
And those kids aren't turning out too bad either because they see their mum working really hard, and it makes
yeah,
them resilient and
yeah,
determined, and so there are so many different ways to go about this.
yeah, yeah,
And I just think the important thing is that you try and do your way to
yeah,
suit you, and don't try and be like anyone else. Don't try and fit into a mold. Don't try and press. Don't try and peacock for the sake of everybody else
yeah,
accepting you or thinking that you're great or good at what you do. No, just do what feels right for you.
yeah,
Enjoy doing it. Be good at
yeah,
what you
yeah,
enjoy, and I think you'll reap the
yeah.
rewards that way.
There's a saying, and it's horses race with blinkers on. And I love that because you kind of just do what you do your thing.
Yeah.
Somebody else does their thing. We all do it differently, and there's no right or wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, what would you say? What does courage look like to you now at your age versus what it looked like in your 20s and 30s?
Mm. That's really interesting. What a question. Good question.
Thank you.
Because the first thing that came to me when you said that, and I'm not sure I'm finding the right answer, but the first thing that came to me was, oh, well, I feel like I've now got the courage I had when I was in my 20s.
Okay.
But yeah, because I felt a little bit, I think I felt vulnerable in my 30s because that was when I had my children
Yeah.
and maybe didn't have the same freedom to just get out there or just do
Yeah.
whatever. Um,
Well, you also talked when you spoke that it wasn't, there was a struggle when when your kids were quite little.
it was horrible.
Yeah.
But I've always been shy on the inside. Actually, it's being shy, being quiet, I should say, is brilliant because you do revert, you do go inward and have a good old chat with yourself and
Right.
decide what you want to do next, decide what your next move is, what your next words are.
Yeah.
And to me, that's where I've found my confidence and my
Yeah.
boldness because I listen to my inner voice and then I go, act on that. And I think I did lose while I was going through in my 30s when the kids were young, and it was just so difficult. I lost my connection with that inner voice.
Yeah.
But now I've got more time and space to do that, more experience under my belt, more feedback from others that what I'm doing is the right thing and that
Yeah.
what I do helps them to feel good about themselves. So there's a great positive feedback loop there. Um, and so yeah, I'm going back to tuning into that inner voice again and knowing that I'm going to be okay. I think confidence for me comes from knowing that whatever happens now, I will handle it.
I guess that's a beautiful thing about being in midlife. It's like everyone will
Mm.
have been through challenges. I've been through a few, one big one. And I think anytime you think, well, I got through that shit show, I can handle this.
Yeah,
This is nothing. And I think that only comes with life,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So I think midlife and like, I think it can be one of the most exciting
Mm.
times. But I guess that's where your health for me becomes so, so, so important.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
think that's the ultimate freedom really
yeah,
is when
yeah.
you're healthy.
I mean, if I go back to sort of I'm sorry, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here, but it's come into my
Tangents
head
are good.
because
We like
I'm
tangents.
thinking about our age and wisdom and where we are right now, and um, I mean, the grandma is always respected in so many other cultures.
Yeah.
Age is regarded as beautiful and needed,
Yeah, yeah,
required, an essential must have, all of those things. And I'm not so sure we're great at it um, in this country anyway. But in performing arts, there's so much richness in exploring the crone, like the old lady, the wrinkly old
yeah, yeah, yeah,
lady,
yeah,
and her wisdom and um, her wise words and how she moves forward in the world with knowing and um, just a soft sense of confidence. And I just love that.
yeah.
I love that.
When you talk to somebody who's older though, like in their late 70s, 80s, they've just got stories though, don't they? They've got the best stories. And
Yeah,
because
they do.
they lived. And I guess if we're not courageous and take some risks, we won't really have any stories
Yeah, yeah.
or go
I
for
mean,
anything.
that's absolutely true. And I think the more we take the risks and the more we mess up and make mistakes,
Yeah,
the more forgiving we are of others as well when they make mistakes, and
yeah,
more accepting and more open. And I just think, yeah, let's just give ourselves and everyone
yeah,
around us a bit of a break. It's
exactly. Just have a wild ride. Who cares?
yeah, yeah. I'm so delighted that my girls have got a great relationship with their grandparents. They're so close with them.
That's
Um,
lovely.
and people will say to me, "Wow, you've raised gorgeous daughters." And I think, yeah, my parents probably had an awful lot to do with that as well. They were around and they really helped.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I actually, it's quite sad. I had two patients that just recently gave birth, and one of them actually had quite a breakdown. And I think I said to them, I said, children used to be raised by a village,
yeah,
and then it was a family, and now actually, because I said, do you know your neighbors? No, they don't know their neighbors. Their
yeah,
family's far away, and It is so hard. Like it's so hard.
Yeah, it's really hard. I live really near to my parents.
Yeah, you're lucky. I
Yeah.
don't. Well, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my parent, my mother-in-law, they're separated, but yeah, they're in London, so they're not too close. But
Yeah.
we do see quite a lot of them. Used to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm very blessed with that. Um, that's another thing. I think confidence comes from being grateful as well. Like sometimes
yes,
if I'm having a bad day or a bit of a down, or I think, okay, what have I got around me to be grateful for? And I really go, oh, crikey, I'm healthy, my girl's
abundance.
healthy,
Yeah,
got my
yeah,
parents.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
some people, you cannot buy that.
No, you can't.
It's just,
No,
yeah. So,
it's amazing. One last question. How do you deal with fear of starting over? Like, are you, I guess, you're sitting in your fancy podcast studio, I think.
uh,
So that's a new
oh my
venture.
God, that was scary. It was
Was it?
scary.
Was
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. So I had this idea, this vision that um, because up until last year, I was running my business out of my spare room. So
Yeah,
I was doing all of that travel with this global business from my
yeah,
spare room.
right.
And I had this vision that I wanted my own space where clients could come and visit me, and I could work here, I could record podcasts
Yeah,
and um, videos, training videos, all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
And I wanted it to be in my local town so that I didn't get in a car and I walked to work and I was part of the community. And I found a space, and then I spoke to an advisor about getting help to be able to buy the equipment for the space because
Yeah,
I just, it wasn't it wasn't an amount that I had
yeah,
to outlay at the time. And I applied for money from the UK Prosperity Fund and I got it, which helped me get out my studio.
yeah. Fab.
And then I was like, oh my God, shit, I've got it now. I've got to do it. So moved into my studio and really was really worried about it. I mean, every day I'm like, am I doing the right thing? Am I taking too many risks? What am I doing? Um, but I did it anyway. Um, and I'm so pleased that I did. I don't really feel like it's a new start. I feel more like it's an evolution.
Yeah,
It's another phase.
yeah,
Um, in my life, I am so used to things coming to an end. So in the performing arts in that industry, you're on a contract and you know the
right.
contract is going to end and you don't know what else is out there. Like so many times that happens. So not only are you used to things coming to an end all the time, you're used to rejection. So you're used to
Okay.
being told no.
So you're quite
So
resilient woman
you
by
have
now.
you have to be. So you're
Yeah,
used to being told no because of your looks, your size, the sound of your voice,
right.
like all of these things as well.
Okay.
Like you can't even sometimes it doesn't matter how smart you are. It's just like you're just not right.
You're just a
Okay.
fit. Yeah,
I've had all of those things. And I think now when somebody else says to me, "Oh, I've just been made redundant. I've just lost my job." I'm going, great, what an opportunity. You're
yeah. What's
free.
next?
You're
Yeah,
you're literally free. Like life has gone, you have no, you cannot stay in this. You have to move forward.
yeah,
What are you going to do?
yeah,
And rather than going, that's horrible and horrendous, I think, wow, you've just been given a life-changing opportunity there.
yeah, yeah,
What
yeah,
are
yeah.
you going to do with it? It's
It's
amazing.
such a different perspective, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because
and I
most
think,
people would covet and just fear.
yeah, and I understand why, but really, what are you going to do with the fear? Like, what's that going to do for you? Like, where is
Yeah,
it going to, if you stay in that fear and you're paralyzed by the fear, like, where are you going to
you're
go from there?
stuck. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's a different perspective, though, isn't it?
yeah, I think I know that there will be some more new beginnings in my life.
Yeah,
Um, and I can feel it coming because I'm noticing my age. I'm noticing. So I don't think I did say my age. I'm 50 this year.
Okay.
I'm noticing, obviously, that I'm getting older and allowing myself to think around um, the notion of slowing down and doing less and being perfectly fine with it and
Yeah, yeah.
having more time to be creative again because I was extremely creative when I was young. I think I'm creative now in my work, but it's usually has a deadline.
Yeah.
um, and and being creative just for the sake of it rather than
Yeah.
it's a paid
It's
job.
a mastery. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And also the maybe moving into I certainly don't want to do it now. I love what I'm doing now,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
moving into a space one day where I might actually just twaddle off to work to maybe work in a garden centre or serve coffee or volunteer or something. I
Yeah,
will never stop, but that phase in life where you do the thing and you're around people and you finish your day and you don't take your work home with you, because that's
yeah,
another thing when you've got your own business. I know we've talked about how it's great because it fits around your kids and stuff, but oh my God, I can go stretches where I'm not a marathon runner, I am a sprinter, and I cram,
yeah,
put loads and loads of work in because I cannot drop that thing because it has to be done.
yeah,
And I'm not worried about letting that go, you know?
yeah, yeah.
Being a
You
new
turn
version.
into a marathon runner, Audrey.
Yeah, a tortoise marathon runner would
Yeah,
be,
yeah, whatever.
yeah, yeah. So
Honestly speaking, Audrey, the world needs more what?
the world needs more time.
Yeah, that's a good one.
People talk to me about being anxious about speaking. Um, Bosses talk to me about the lack of efficiency and communication within their team. Um, my friends talk to me about not being able to spend time with their kids,
Yeah,
and I think we'd solve an awful lot more problems if we took a step back and took more time back for ourselves to think about what we do next and feel what we want to do next. And I mean real time as well. I don't mean time where you fill your brain with what's going on in social media,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
the noise, because that sucks up time. It's so draining and
yeah.
you don't have time to think. Um, so I think if we could take a step back and have more time, um,
Smell the roses.
yeah, I think we'd all feel a lot happier.
Yeah. Yeah, our life has been so busy with three kids, tons of sport, and like just. And this weekend, actually, I had a friend over, and we just actually just sat in the garden. I looked at my husband, and was like, I haven't done this ever. Like we
Yeah.
sat there for about 2.5 hours, had breakfast, and just had a coffee. I think I was just sitting and looking at my garden and just thinking, like, I have never actually just sat here and done nothing.
Yeah.
First time.
But you
And I
were
loved
doing
it.
something. You were
I
eating
was.
breakfast in the
And having
garden.
coffee. I know, but even that is a push for me.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So it is actually just nice. And I just thought, gosh, like I need to just make those lists. Yeah, just enjoy life a little bit more, I think.
Yeah,
Present time consciousness.
yeah.
Any closing words? If you were talking to a
Thank you.
midlife woman, what's the one thing you'd like them to get out of this?
Um, Stop using the term imposter syndrome.
Yes, that's a good one. Yeah.
Let's go to belonging syndrome, and understand that we belong. Often we're invited to the room, and so we're meant to be there because we've been
Mm,
invited. To go easy on yourself, to enjoy this amazing body that we've been given, and um, go with the changes that are coming. Try not to fight them. Be gentle on yourself. Nurture yourself. Nourish yourself so that you can get through the changes in this midlife
yeah.
and and feel good about the fact that this is a part of life and that you're going to actually come out of the other side. And and you get to you get to look back and go, no, to all the others that
Yeah.
have to go through
I
it.
made it.
It will be out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, just be kind to yourself and know that there are people out there who love you and care about you and appreciate what you're going through and will hold your hand, and you don't have to
Yeah.
do things on your own. So
Yeah. I think that's the importance. You need a tribe. You need to, I would say to the kids, you know lots of people if you like that, but you only need a few good friends in life.
yeah,
Just solid friendships that'll be
yeah.
there forever.
Yeah, and when I think when I speak to people about their voice, I say, you know what, your voice is more than your words. Your voice is everything that you are.
Yeah.
So that's really important. Embrace
Yeah.
that and know it and value it and be proud of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I think being authentic is a bit of a kind of a trendy word right now, but it is like there's no other way to really say it. It's
Yeah. Yeah,
do you, hey?
definitely do you.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
So we will have all of Audrey's contact details if anyone wants to get in touch with you. But yeah, just huge thank you. It's been lovely.
Oh, thank you very much. It's been great to speak to you.